She blocked me on everything: phone, socials, even Venmo. I thought that was it. Silence. But she forgot one thing: the security cameras, and what I saw on those feeds. It broke me in a way silence never could. My name's Travis, 32 years old, born and raised in Portland, Oregon. I work as a systems engineer, long hours in front of glowing screens, coding away in silence while the world spins on outside. I'm not flashy. I don't wear tailored suits or drive a sports car. I like thrift shops, black coffee, old jazz. In rainy mornings, basically, I'm the guy your mom would call a stable option. Safe, dependable. That's what Vanessa used to say too. We met at a Halloween party of all places. She was dressed as Jessica Rabbit Tread Satin, heels so high she had to lean on walls to keep from toppling over. I was in a half-assed Superman, shirt and jeans. She laughed at my effort or lack of a tan. Somehow we started talking. It was one of those weird instant connections you think only happens in movies. Within a month, she'd moved in. Vanessa was everything I wasn't: fiery, spontaneous, magnetic. She lit up a room the second she stepped in, and people gravitated toward her like moths to a bonfire. I felt lucky to even be in the same orbit. For a while we were good, like really good. We had our little rituals: Sunday morning pancakes with too much syrup, late-night grocery runs because she craved pickles and peanut butter at 1 a.m. Spotify playlists we built together like tiny love letters. We binge-watched trashy reality shows and made up stories about the neighbors and the apartment across the alley. We even got a rescue cat named Mango, who hated me and worshipped her. But it didn't last. Looking back, I think I noticed the change around the 9-month mark. She started coming home later. Her hugs felt distracted, like her body was there, but her mind had already walked out. She stopped laughing at the dumb jokes she used to repeat to her friends. Her phone was always face down now, locked, notifications turned off. She used to send me selfies at work just to say she missed me. Those stopped too. At first I told myself I was imagining it, that this was what real relationships looked like after the honeymoon glow faded. Then maybe I needed to try harder, so I cooked more, bought her flowers, even suggested couples game nights like we used to do. But it was like trying to hug. Smoke. She was there physically, but emotionally, she was already gone. One night I came home from a work trip early. The place was spotless. Mango was curled up on the couch, and Vanessa was nowhere to be found. She hadn't mentioned going out, I texted. No response. Called straight to voicemail. Then I noticed her toothbrush was gone. So was her coat. Her favorite boots. My chest sank. The next morning, she blocked me on everything. Phone, Instagram, Facebook, even Spotify, as if I'd ceased to exist just because she said so. But she forgot one thing. We had a home security system I'd installed myself. 4 cameras, one by the front door, one in the hallway, one in the living room, and one outside facing the street. All synced to my cloud storage. She never asked me how it worked. She never thought I'd look. But I did. And what I saw. That's where the real story begins. I didn't go straight to the footage at first. I just sat there, in that empty apartment on the edge of the bed we used to share. Her side still smelled like lavender shampoo. Mango paced back and forth near the door, meowing like he was waiting for her to walk back in. I waited too until morning. Still nothing. That's when I logged into the camera system. The footage wasn't real time. Recordings from the previous few days. I scrubbed through, not even sure what I was looking for. Mostly it was just her, coming and going. On Wednesday night, 2 days before she blocked Emma, I saw it. A car pulled up outside around 11:14 p.m. A guy got out, tall, confident, hoodie pulled low. She opened the front door before he could even knock. They hugged too long, too close. Then she pulled him inside. He never took off his shoes. That stuck with me for some reason. He stayed for hours. They laughed, shared wine, sat on the couch I bought, where we used to watch The Office reruns. Then around 2 a.m. they kissed. Not drunk, not accidental. This was practiced, familiar. I paused the video and just stared. I must have. Sat like that for 10 minutes. Face blank. Heart on mute. The next morning I got a knock on the door, not from Vanessa, but from a delivery guy. He handed me a box labeled with her name and said, "She asked me to drop this off." Inside, her key, her favorite mug, and a note that said, "I'm sorry it ended this way. Please don't try to contact me." I wanted to scream.
But I didn't.
I didn't throw things or call her 20 times. I just sat there and tried to understand how you go from late-night pancake runs and singing in the car to this. Over the next week, I watched every second of footage. I noticed things. She'd been having people over when I worked nights. Not just that guy, though, he was the most frequent. There was a pattern. Wine glasses, dim lights, music. She always made sure the curtains were drawn, but she forgot about the hallway camera. It caught everything except the bedroom door. There were moments, hours of them sitting close, talking in low voices, her hand on his thigh, like our home had become their little secret club. I started spiraling. I stopped going to work, called in sick, turned my phone off. My friends texted me asking where I was, but I didn't answer. What would I even say? She blocked me on everything, except the surveillance feed. It felt pathetic. What made it worse was the gaslighting. A few weeks before she left, she started accusing me of being too paranoid. She said I was suffocating her, that I didn't trust her independence. That was her favorite word. Independence. Funny. How independence looked a whole lot like infidelity. I remembered one night in particular, a fight we had when I asked if she was talking to someone new. "She got icy cold," said Travis. "Not everything is about you being insecure. I need space. That's normal. Space." Now I had all the space in the world. Even Mango avoided me. It kept sitting by the door like she'd suddenly come back by week. 2. I started gathering receipts, not out of pettiness, but clarity. I downloaded all the footage. I saved screenshots. I matched timestamps to texts she sent me, messages that said, "Can't wait to see you tonight," while her friend was already in our house. I created a folder on my desktop and named it Truth. But what I didn't expect was the twist. One night, while scrubbing through newer footage after she'd already blocked me, noticed the guy was back. Same car, same hoodie. Except this time, he didn't come to the front door. He went around the side. The outdoor cam caught him sliding a key out from under the fake rock in the garden. The one only we knew about. He let himself in. She had changed nothing. My stomach flipped. That's when the ideas started forming. Not revenge. Yet, just a reckoning. Something that would make her face the truth. She worked so hard to delete. She blocked me everywhere, but I still had the eyes. I didn't act right away. Instead, I did something that surprised even me. I got quiet. Not the kind of quiet that means retreat, but the kind that means preparation. I shaved, cleaned the apartment, took Mango to stay with my sister, and then I sat down with a notepad and started writing a letter. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I didn't threaten. I just told the truth. I wrote about the good things, how we met, the love we built. Then I described the slow erosion. I told her how I noticed the shifts, her phone always on silent, the sudden gym nights, the extra meetings after work. I told her I forgave her for needing something I couldn't give, but I didn't forgive the way she left, the cowardice, the silence. And then I attached the screenshots. Timestamps, video stills, the key under the rock. Her smile at someone else in my home. I printed them, all meticulously organized, like a report. I didn't send it to her, not yet. Instead, I called her Dad. We'd only met a few times holidays. Birthdays. He liked me, said I was solid. I wasn't sure if he'd pick up, but he did. "Travis. Hey, Mr. Jennings, sorry to call out of the blue, but I think it's time someone else saw what's been going on." There was a pause, then a sigh. "Come by." When I showed him the letter and the evidence, he didn't say a word. Just stared at the pages like they were slowly breaking something. Inside him, "She told us you just left," he finally said. I nodded. I figured. He handed the folder back, but I pushed it toward him. "No, keep it. I'm not sending it to her. I just thought her family should know who she became. When no one was watching, He looked at me like he wanted to apologize but couldn't find the words. I didn't need one. The next part wasn't planned. It just happened. About a week later, I saw her on the footage again. She came alone this time. Wore an oversized hoodie, hair tied up. Didn't have a key, must have. Realized I'd changed the locks. She stood outside the front door for almost 15 minutes, just standing. Then she looked up directly at the camera. That was the moment I knew she remembered. That she finally realized I was still watching. I almost felt sorry for her. Then came the message. From an unknown number. Messed up. I know you don't owe me anything, but I'd like to talk, please. I didn't respond, but I knew what I had to do. I took the letter, the same one I'd shown her father, and left it taped to the inside of the front door. I knew she'd come back eventually. I even left the camera rolling so I could watch her. Read it. She showed up at 9:47 p.m. hoodie again, shoulders hunched. She read every page. Tears. Tears. Real ones. Hands shaking. She pulled out her phone, probably forgetting she'd blocked me on. Tried to call, nothing. Then she did something unexpected. She turned around and saw the outdoor camera. Walked up to it and whispered, "I'm sorry." I didn't feel satisfaction. I didn't feel triumph. I just felt done. But the twist. Later that night, after I thought it was over, I got a call. Not from her, from him, the guy.
I don't.
Know what you said to her, man? He started. But she's unraveling. I didn't speak. I just wanted you to know. She told me you were abusive, controlling, that you tracked her, locked her out. She said you were dangerous. Pause. But then I saw the folder and the camera footage. She lied to me too. He hung up. I sat there, numb, letting the quiet settle like dust. Vanessa blocked me on everything except the truth. And the truth. After that call, I didn't hear from either of them for a while. I went back to work slowly. The coworkers didn't ask questions. They must have sensed I wasn't ready. I poured myself into tasks like a man who needed to feel useful again. Debugged systems. Fixed code. Stayed late on purpose. I moved out of the apartment 2 weeks later. It wasn't dramatic. I packed in silence, donated half the furniture, and left the keys on the counter. I even left Mango's little cat tree behind, knowing she'd probably come back for it. I didn't want reminders. Not of her, not of him, not of who I used to be. I signed a lease on a small house outside the city. Nothing fancy. Just space and quiet and air that didn't feel like it remembered every lie. Therapy helped more than I thought it would. The first time I sat down and explained what had happened, I couldn't even make eye contact. I said things like, "It's fine, I'm fine," while wringing my hands and tapping my foot. But the therapist, Sharon, didn't let me off easy. She said something that stuck with me. "You're grieving someone who still exists. It's a different kind of loss. Lives with you longer." She was right, because Vanessa didn't die. She just changed into someone I couldn't recognize. Someone I couldn't reach. About a month after I moved, I got an email. Subject, "Please." It was her. "I know I don't deserve a response. I just want you to know I've started therapy. Told my family everything. I'm not writing to ask you to take me back. I just needed to tell the truth somewhere." I didn't reply. I didn't delete it either. Sometimes closure doesn't come in a reply. Sometimes it's in choosing not to engage. She tried again. A few weeks later, she found me on LinkedIn. Sent a message. "You were the best person I've ever known." I see that now. "I'm sorry I couldn't say it before." Again, I let the message sit. There was a time I would have jumped at those words. Would have dropped everything, driven across town, stood on her porch waiting for the door to open like some sad romantic movie. But that time had passed. A few months later, I ran into her affair partner, Chris, at a gas station of all places. He looked different. Tired, less smug. He recognized me instantly. "Hey, Travis, right? Okay?" I gave him a small nod. He scratched the back of his neck. "She, moved to LA. I raised an eyebrow. She said it was time for a fresh start. Without either of us, I didn't say anything. She told me, "You watched everything." I just want you to know. She lied to me too. All of it. I shrugged. Doesn't matter now. But as I walked away, he called out, "You were lucky, man. You got out early." He was right. I was lucky. Because the real trap isn't the betrayal, it's staying in it after you know the truth. I could have clung to hope. I could have made her explain herself 1,000 times. But none of it would have changed what I saw, what I felt, and now. Now I had space, peace. Not the Instagram kind of peace. Not meditating on a cliff peace. Just honest peace. The kind where you make your own coffee in the morning, don't check the footage anymore. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm healed. That would be a lie some nights. I still wake up and expect to hear her singing in the shower off key and too loud. I still pour 2 cups of coffee out of habit. Sometimes I catch myself reaching for my phone to text her a meme, forgetting just for a second that she's gone, not dead, but gone in the kind of way that never really comes back. But I'm not the man I was either. Back then, I lived for validation. For those little moments where she'd laugh at my jokes or squeeze my hand in public, I needed her to make me feel enough. And that dependency, that silent, quiet kind of desperation made me blind. Now, I live slower. I take long drives at sunset with no destination. I've started journaling, even though I used to think it was pointless. I've stopped trying to curate a perfect life for someone else to admire and started building a life I actually like being in. I let Mango back in too. He was with my sister for a while, and when he finally walked back through my new front door, he jumped on the windowsill, looked around like this'll do, and fell asleep in the sun. Funny how animals don't need apologies. They just need consistency. And me? I've started dating again. Slowly, carefully. I don't lead with my scars, but I don't hide them either. They're part of me now, the cracks where the light gets in. Guess sometimes I still think about that night she looked directly into the security camera. She wasn't angry. She wasn't scared. She just looked sad.
Out.
Like someone who finally saw the wreckage in the mirror and didn't know how to clean it up. But that cleanup. That's not my job anymore. Vanessa got the last word. The last message. The last key, but I got something better. I got to walk away. I got to rebuild. I got to look myself in the mirror and say, "You stayed kind, even when she didn't." And that's the kind of peace I wouldn't trade for anything. If you enjoyed my story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life stories like this.